Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social episode 2. No, season 2, episode 26. It's my first time being the presenter of this show. I'll tell you what, it's really weird. But boys, we're joined with Ben, Jack, making his little appearance again. The second time he's ever been on the podcast. The first time he's ever interviewed someone, which is weird. And of course, the man himself, Andrea Orlandi. Andrea, how are we today, mate?
I'm all right. Thank you, boys. Thank you for having me on. It's such a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Mate, I'll tell you what, this is big. Because, Andrea, this is funny because you were the first person I ever did a live stream with. You may remember it in 2020. It's the first time I ever did a live stream or video content at all. So the fact you're on this now, you remember that?
Yeah, of course I do, yeah.
Love that. So yeah, you were the first person that ever saw me do it. So obviously now it's a bit funny because Jack's you're making your debut as well with Andrea Orlandi, mate. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, no, I mean, Andrea Orlandi's one of my favourite players, like cult hero. My friend's got. I remember my friend, like when we were like maybe 15 or 16, he went and got Orlandi's shirt and everything. So I'm sure I did actually speak to you once, Andrea, at Wolves away, and I was really, really drunk. I tried to buy you a drink.
Surprise!
And you said no, and I just walked off like that. So, but yeah, that's.
But when was that? Like last season, yeah?
No, that was. Oh, I want to say that was. I think it was a 0-0 draw. It was like just before Houghton went, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it was before that.
Yeah.
We always, to be fair, I think the last like 5 or 6 times I've been to Wolves, it's been a 0-0 draw. So it could be any of those
usually
games.
A 0-0 draw.
That is actually true.
Listen, I remember a 3-3 draw when Gus was the manager.
Oh yeah, that was a great game.
Oh man, and our journey back to Brighton was one of the craziest I've ever had, because obviously Gus was fuming after the game. We should have won, so they equalized late, and he said, "Well, you play like kids. I'm gonna treat you like kids." So we had cartoons on the screens on the bus all the way down to Brighton. Yeah, we had Peppa Pig.
Do that?
Yeah, he did that. Yeah. So after 3 hours, it was unbearable. So we asked Gordon Greer, please, can you go and talk to him? You know, the captain. He went and sat down with him, and he said, "No, I'm not gonna turn it off. There's cartoons all the way down to Brighton." Yeah, so that's what.
Was there any other like crazy things that Gus did, or was that probably the craziest?
Gus, he was a character. You could see that he had a temper. So when things weren't going the way he liked, he would tell you straight in your face. I remember a game away at Blackpool, and I thought we were playing well. We didn't have a shot on target, to be honest. We were playing without a striker, so I think Vicente was like the number 9. I was playing, so we were passing the ball around well, but we didn't shoot, basically. And we were all happy walking into the dressing room, and he just comes to me and he says, "You playing shit." He said, I give you 5 minutes. He said, "I give you 5 minutes." I was subbed after 5 minutes. That was
no.
Really? Wow.
So that was Gus. No, Gus was great. Gus was great. In terms of motivating, in terms of giving you the right advice, and preparing you for games. It was fantastic.
You worked under some unbelievable managers, which we will get into. So Ryan, if you're listening, we're going to go through Andrea's career, and then at the end we'll go from some fan questions that you've sent in. So Ryan, do you want to kick us off with the first question, starting from the beginning?
Yeah. So Andrea, obviously, quite early in your career, you had quite a big decision to make. So you were called up for the Spanish under-17s, but apparently said no. Why was that?
Because both of my parents are Italian, and I do feel Italian, even though I was born in Barcelona. And at the time, there was a rule that said basically if you played for the under-17s of Spain, you couldn't play for Italy later on.
Wow.
Which it's not. It doesn't exist anymore. You're too young to remember that. So basically, I should have gone and played for Spain under-17 because it was such a big thing, and it would have probably changed something. Maybe not, but it was a great opportunity. So I turned it down because my ambition and my dream was playing for Italy. And I was close. I was close to play for the under-20s, but couldn't make it.
Because Callum Hudson-Odoi more recently, so he's actually played for England in the men's national team in a competitive game 3 times. But they've changed the rule again now, so he can still change his nationality to Ghana, despite playing for the first team 3 times.
Grealish as well. He went from Ireland to
Grealish,
England,
went to Ireland to England.
Yeah, I wish I could just change it, but now there's nothing I can do about it. But I should have go and play for Spain.
Did you try to really make an effort for it, or was it sort of one of those things that just happened and you had to accept it?
What do you mean? I obviously when I played, I made my debut at 18 in the Spanish Championship for Alaves. This is when Italy sent some scouts, to see me play, and obviously there was some interest. I got some emails from the manager as well, so cool. I was really keen on playing for the Italian national team. Eventually, they thought I wasn't good enough, or they thought they had better players in Italy, and I didn't make it. But it would have been great.
Whereabouts in Italy are you from? Or sorry, where are your parents from? Because obviously you were born in Barcelona.
Yeah, my dad is from, let's say, the center of Italy, the East Coast. It's called Ancona, and my mom is from near Venice. And they met halfway in Bologna at the university. Yeah. Well, my mom is a saint, because if you see my dad, we won't go into that anyway.
That's right.
So the next question was so you started your career obviously at Deportivo Alaves and then moved on to Barcelona. That must have been a huge move for you to make as a young man to like the biggest club in the world. How did that feel? Were you excited? Were you a bit nervous?
I was very excited and very nervous as well. And basically, when you walk in at Barca, you feel that you are one of the biggest clubs in the world. Just the offices, just the contract that you signed as well. The papers look different, so everything is better, bigger. And it took me a while to adapt to it. In terms of, I remember after 2 weeks, I had to train with the first team. Man, and when you see Ronaldinho walking in, obviously Messi was young, but Iniesta, Xavi, Eto'o, so many big players and big names. I had to pinch myself and I was telling myself, just act normal, act like if it's something normal, don't look nervous. But I was shaky, I was panicking. And then eventually I got used to it, which I feel sorry about, because you shouldn't get used to training and playing with this sort of players. But it was a great experience coming from Alaves. You normally don't go from Alaves to Barca, so it was great, man. And I enjoyed it. First couple of months it was difficult, but then I really enjoyed it.
Did you pick up anything from them just that sort of stuck with you for the rest of your career, or because even just being in and around them, did it not have any impact at all?
No, yeah. I mean, one thing I learned when I was at Barca is that the best players are probably the most humble ones. Right. They don't show off, they don't overact, they don't need to. So basically, they're role models. I remember Xavi working in the dressing room, and I was jealous of him as the person he was, not only the player, but I wanted to be like him. So I tried to copy everything I could on and off the pitch. Obviously, on the pitch was very difficult, but I did learn from them, and obviously I got a lot better in terms of keeping the ball. The Andrea Orlandi that signed for Barca and the Orlandi that left Barca was a different player. But obviously, the main thing I learned is the way they behaved. I thought, well, if these people, they're just down to earth, this is how you should be. You see players that have played nowhere, driving fancy cars and thinking they're gods. No, I mean, no, because I've been with the best, and the best, they're humble.
Well, you say they're humble. I read that Ronaldinho used to make Messi. Messi was his coffee guy, basically. Is that true? And did you have any roles as well? Did the older players make you do anything like clean boots or anything? No,
but I really wanted them to tell me, just bring me a coffee. I would have done it. I was desperate for it. But he said, I remember Ronaldinho telling Messi, "How many World Cups have you played? Okay, bring me the coffee." That was it. So it would say, like, Youngie, bring me the coffee, and Messi would go, sugar? Yeah, two things of sugar. Messi would do the coffee, and that was it. But it was just a way of just embrace Messi and make him feel part of, of the team. And Ronaldinho, he loved Messi. From the start, he could see the talent. I mean, it was pretty obvious that it was something different. But obviously, when Guardiola took over, and he felt that Ronaldinho, because obviously Ronaldinho loved partying, otherwise he would have been the best player ever. Because the only thing missing for him was consistency. Talent-wise, the best I've ever seen. He thought, okay, Ronaldinho has to leave, and then we have to, keep Messi with us. He shouldn't go partying. He should concentrate about, playing football, and this is what happened.
Amazing. And with Messi, like there's so many people say that he's really shy. Is that true? Is he not much of an outgoing character?
No, he is very shy. He is very, very shy.
Like, his ability on the pitch does not match the personality you think he'd have. Like, you think Ronaldo's unbelievable, so his personality kind of matches it. It's quite crazy.
But I've met players, and I just I think they're genius. You know, they're not like normal people, and they behave they're in their own world, and you should respect that. And this is Messi. You know, he won't talk. And as you say in England, he lets the pitch do the talking. So he just goes out there and expresses himself in the dressing room. He can just be quiet for 2 hours, no problem.
Anyone want a coffee? Is there anything you'll say?
He's a great coffee maker. But then if you talk to him, he remembers absolutely everybody's played with. Every pitch is played at. Every team is played against at youth level. I mean, his football knowledge, his football brain is unbelievable. So I'm sure he's going to be. Maybe not a coach, but a sports director. He's going to be involved in Barca's future for sure.
100%.
Amazing.
I mean, so then after that, Andrea, obviously you came in, debut for Barcelona. How did you find out that news? You know, what was the first reactions to that? That must have been surreal.
Yeah. First, I was in the squad list, and that was already a big thing for me. So we traveled up to Bilbao. And then we had a meeting. It wasn't a meeting, really. We had like a pre-match lunch. And it was quite late because the game was at 9 o'clock p.m.
Wow.
And then Rijkaard started writing down the starting lineup. And then one of my teammates from the B team just was knocking me over. Like, are you starting? I said, come on. You know, stop it. I said, you starting? I said, starting. And I just turned and I saw my name there. I saw Orlandi as a left back. In a back four, and I thought, what the fuck? I'm starting, man. So I just stopped eating. I couldn't eat anymore. And Eto was sitting next to me. And then he said, well, is that the first time you play as a left back? And I said, yeah, first time ever. And he said, well, don't worry, just give me the ball, you'll be fine. I said, okay, thank you, Samuel. and this is what I did. Not that it made me feel any better at all. But, there were some nervy moments. And then once I got to the stadium, I kind of relaxed. First time I touched the ball during the warm-up, I thought, okay, I'm on it. I'm at it today. And I had a decent debut. Nothing special, but, when you make your debut for Barca.
It would be crazy. No. Like, imagine the nerves just knowing that you're going to start, but then figuring out you're playing in a position you've never played before.
Yeah.
Like, on top of that, was it a good distraction? Was it a good distraction?
I'll tell you something. It made it worse. And the thing is, every time I had the ball, I had to do a throw-in, especially in the first half. I had the Athletic Bilbao manager close to me, and he would tell the winger, just take him on, he's shitting himself every time I got the ball. I had their manager shouting, so to make sure I could listen. And this little fucker, he's just trying to make me nervous. But I was at it, I was on it, so I didn't care.
Yeah, having watched you play for Brighton, I wouldn't have put left back down as a position.
No.
I would have seen you play. Maybe Graham Potter, he'd play left back. Yeah, Graham Potter plays anyone anywhere. Playing
certainly left wing back or something. 100%.
Yeah, you'd be great in a back five.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if I have to play for Brighton and playing as a left back, I would have done it, no problem. By the way, the game against Wolverhampton, I ended up playing as a left back. The game we drew 3-1. It was all attack. It was me and David Lopez playing as fullbacks.
Yeah, that was. They were down to 10, weren't they? They only had 10 men, and then they equalised in the last.
And then Gus put Bruno in midfield.
Knowledge.
It did something strange.
Bruno in midfield.
Yeah, me as a left back, David Lopez
I recall this
as a right back.
Really annoy me. I'm normally really good with game knowledge.
Yeah, suddenly all come back to me. I think Stephen Dobby and Michael Smith.
Yeah, Stephen Dobby played.
Yeah, Stephen Dobby scored. I know.
You're going to learn something about Jack,
Andrea.
His ball knowledge about Brighton and just football in general was unbelievable.
Mad.
No, unbelievable. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I've got it all in my head. I can't remember my mum's birthday or something. I can remember the Brighton scores. So
brilliant.
Go on, then, Jack. Talk about your ball knowledge for the final, mate.
Yeah, well, I noticed that during your time at Barcelona, it was the Champions League final. So, were you involved in that at all? Were you involved in the first team squad, or did you?
I was in the Champions League list.
Yeah.
So if you check Wikipedia, I've got a Champions League trophy, but So I take that.
It's all right, then, isn't it?
Champions League winner here, unbelievable.
But I didn't travel because
That's the quote right there.
I was playing with the second team. We were playing to get promoted to, let's say, the Spanish Championship.
I see.
So I was involved with them during the week, and obviously Barca won the Champions League against Arsenal, and then I played in the league at the weekend with the first team. So that was it was a great week for me.
You didn't get a medal then?
I should have asked for it. I never asked for it. But I could have had I'm stupid. Yeah, I should have asked for it. Yeah, I should have taken it. Yeah. I was just too shy to ask. It was like, my medal is somewhere. It's somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's not at home, unfortunately.
Probably in the kit man's drawer. He's probably got like
definitely.
5 of them that he never got to give away. Yeah. Sorry, just a quick one on like the whole Spanish B team, like Barcelona B team, Real Madrid have that. Do you like that? Do you think the Premier League clubs should do that and have maybe like a Man United B team or a Brighton B team within the Football League, or do you think that would?
I think it works. I mean, it does prepare you better, to make the next step. In England, it's to the youngsters. They're more ready than in Spain in terms of mentally. You can see they're ready to play in front of a 30,000 full crowd. They're not scared of it, but there's a huge gap between reserve football and first team football. So you end up going out on loan to lots of clubs. It can work, but it could also just finish your career at the beginning. So if you're nursed and you cared about at the same club with a B team and you play professional football as well, so that prepares you a lot better for to play at the highest level. I think it works in Spain. In Italy they have the same problem. It's actually worse than in England. Basically at 19, if you don't make it to the first team, you're gone. So there's there's nothing in between. There's the under 19s and that's it, and then first team. There's no under 23s or anything like it. So it's a bit of a mess. I think that the system in Spain works and works quite well. You got Real Sociedad, for example. They play so many youngsters because the Real Sociedad B team is playing in the Championship, and those guys are ready. And
they can't get promoted, can they? They're not allowed to get promoted from the league.
No.
That's the weirdest part.
Yeah, it is weird. Once Real Madrid B got to the Spanish Cup final against Real Madrid. Did you know that?
What?
Ages
ago. Like Jack would know that. That's something Jack would
know. never heard of that. So that's a new one for me.
Yeah, they got to the Spanish Cup final against the first team. That was crazy. Obviously, first team won.
So funny.
Yeah.
Imagine if the second team beats them. Yeah, it was crazy.
So is there what's your take on the sort of building a system of a player? Because I remember seeing I think it was Arsene Wenger say something about how a young player develops, and they can obviously say going out on loan B teams. Did you ever have like a preferred way of sort of doing it? Did you prefer to go out on loan? Would you prefer to sort of stick in and around a youth system, or what would be your sort of style choice?
I mean, the ideal scenario is you grow up at the same youth academy and then go through the stages up to the first team. Never happens. Yeah. Well, 80% of the time that doesn't happen. Yeah. And then it all depends on players, Ryan, because if you look at, for example, Barcelona youngsters, Gavi is 17 and he's starting for Barca every week.
It's mad.
At 17, I wasn't nowhere near the level required to play in La Liga. Yeah. So every player is different. For me, going out on loan, you can get lost. I remember my season at Blackpool, which was very difficult. And we had players on loan from Chelsea, from Man United, from Everton, Liverpool. And I thought, why are these clubs sending these players here? They're just killing them because they're going into a team who's struggling. The atmosphere is not great. The team performance is bad. So how is this young kid, going to enjoy it or going to learn or going to improve from this experience? No chance. So they're just sending players on loan for the sake of it. It doesn't make sense to me. If it's a season long deal, let's say, okay, because there's a project or there's a club that benefits this style of play, it makes sense. It's just going out on loan to play a couple of games. I can't see it working.
It's interesting.
Okay, go back to Barcelona quickly. No, that's all right. In an interview with Adam at Brighton Hove Albion, you made the point that if you had stayed at Barca for one more season, you could have potentially got more opportunities in the first team then. Because I think it was then when Pep Guardiola took over, as he was playing more youngsters. And in your words, you said that those youngsters weren't necessarily better than you, which I love. So things could have been very, very different if timing.
Timing is everything, Ben. And I've been a bit unlucky at Barcelona because after my first season I did really well. Barca made an offer to Alaves to buy me, and because I was on loan from Alaves, and basically that summer Barca had a transfer embargo. After the offer was made, and Alaves refused it, Barca had a transfer embargo for 2 months. So that was done. And then
common occurrence at Barcelona.
Don't ask me.
No comment.
And then the following season, when Guardiola was taking over, he wanted to talk to me, and I thought, that my time at Barca was done. I didn't want to play for the second team anymore. I wanted first team or wanted out. So I didn't even talk to him, which obviously I deeply regret. Because obviously every player that stayed with Barca B, with Guardiola, under Guardiola, either they play for the first team or they move to a La Liga team straight away, because the attraction of Guardiola and the way they played and the way they improved under Pep was huge. So had I stayed for another season, you never know. Maybe Guardiola wouldn't have liked me. I wouldn't have played. I don't know. But
played left back, maybe still.
Probably would have.
Spanish left back ever.
Probably.
Italian left back. Sorry.
Probably, yes. So you never know. You never know. I don't like to look back, but that was a bad decision. At least I should have spoken to it.
For us, it wasn't, because we got to watch you play at the Amex, so we're not complaining.
Okay.
So that's a nice transition, actually, because obviously you come over to Wales, to Swansea. I mean, that was quite a jump, to say the least. How was that settling process? I mean, obviously we talk about a settling process, but that must have been quite a big change.
Yeah, obviously I got back to Alaves, went back to Alaves. Alaves went into administration, no money, we weren't getting paid. And then Roberto Martinez, the coach at Swansea, saw me playing for the first team in the Cup. And after that game, he rang me and said, well, I just want you at Swansea. And I said, okay, yeah, but I'm here at Barca first. I got a contract with Alaves. I don't know where Swansea is, basically.
It's a very glamorous place. He should have told you. I'm sure he sold it well.
Anyway, as the summer progressed, then, Swansea was an option, became an option. I had offers from Greece, but I didn't fancy it. And then, the last day of the transfer window, I ended up going to Wales, which was, a bit of a shock for me, because you go from Barca and everything was perfectly structured to
glamorous.
A club that was very familiar, no training ground. We used to wash our own kit, different style of football. I couldn't speak the language. I couldn't speak to my teammates. The weather was terrible, and I thought, wow, this is gonna take a while to actually for me to settle in and adapt to it. But eventually, Roberto said something to me. You're gonna stay here for 6 months, and then you want to go back home. You want to go back home, or you're going to stay in England for 9-10 seasons because you're going to love it. And basically the first 6 months period is where I thought maybe I should go back to Spain. Once I got over the line, I fell in love with English football, and I just wanted to stay there for the rest of my career.
Wow. Yes. I mean, it was an amazing journey you had with Swansea as well. Like, you went all the way from the third tier to the Premier League, like playoff finals. It must have been... It's a good club to pick, shall we say. Exciting.
It was great, and that's why I signed for Swansea, because I thought there was a story to be written there. And I believed in Roberto, and I thought, well, we got a project, at least there's going to be something different. We were the underdogs every season. Well, probably in League One we were favourites. But then in the Championship we were favourites to go down every single season, and then we finished 8th, 7th, and then 3rd and got promoted. So, and basically by playing different style of football, and it was great. I enjoyed my time on the pitch. It was difficult off the pitch, if I'm honest. And the first 2 seasons with Roberto were the most difficult one for me, because I didn't play that much, and then I had injuries after injury. It was hard, but it was a great story. 5 years, in South Wales, and obviously we made history. The first Welsh, team to get into the Premier League before Cardiff, and obviously Swansea City fans are super proud, and I'm obviously very proud of it.
Amazing. Can you shed light on the story of I don't know who the staff member was, but when he gave you like a bin bag with your kit in, saying like, here you go, get changed, let's go to training. Could you tell us about that story?
Yeah, it was the player liaison, like Hugh Lake, and he gave me a bag with my kit. Get changed and I'll pick you up. I can't remember the time. And then we go to the training, and I thought he was joking. Well, they're taking the piss. I'm gonna get changed, get to the training ground, and everyone's gonna be laughing at me. So I just kept my my gear on, and I had the bag with me. When I got to the training ground, well, everyone was driving in their kit, jumped off their cars, put the boots on, and then train. And I thought, okay, there's no dressing room basically, so I had to get changed in the car, put my boots on, and train. And it was like, oh my god, what am I doing? What am I doing here? Jesus. But it was different. But then you get used to it. I mean, okay, we had to wash our own kits. So what? Let's go out. Let's go out there and play good football. And this is what we did.
Did any of the players find the funny side of that? Surely they thought, right, here's a lad from Barcelona, used to the glitz and glam, and he's just had to get changed. Like, surely, like maybe Angel Rangel or Martinez kind of saw the funny side of it.
Yeah, they probably felt sorry for me at the beginning, and they thought, poor guy, he doesn't know where he's come. But no, it was good, man. The atmosphere was great. With Angel, you mentioned him, friend for life, and we had a great bond from the start. And obviously he helped me a lot. He helped me massively. But I'm quite an easygoing guy. I mean, yeah, I come from Barcelona. Okay, good enough. But I was at Swansea. I was at the same level as the others. And well, if I have to wash my own kid, I'll do it. No problem. I got on with it. Even though a few times I did complain. I have to be completely honest. But
I'm sure a lot of other ex-Barca players would have probably left by the time you've done. So fair play to you for sticking with it.
You're not wrong there.
Sorry, so your time at Swansea, you worked with some unbelievable managers. So like we said, Roberto Martinez, so Paulo Sousa, yeah. Is that how you pronounce it?
Sousa, yeah.
And Brendan Rodgers as well, who's obviously gone to do brilliant things. Might be a tough question for you, but who did you prefer working under?
I mean, probably the one that trusted me the most was Paulo Sousa, who basically turned me from an okay winger to a good midfielder. He taught me how to play midfield. He was a great player himself. He won 2 Champions Leagues with Borussia Dortmund and Juventus. Roberto was, it was difficult for me because he would always tell me how good I was, but he would never play me. So I was like, okay, what's the point? And then with Brendan, I had a great relationship. I still have to this day. Great manager. I love going into training. Every morning I would wake up like really wanting to go and train because I would learn every day. And it was the perfect mix between Roberto, very attacking, and Paulo, very defensive. So it was, tactically good. The training was fun. Physically we were ready.
I've heard his training's really good fun.
No, it's great. And the first conversation I had with him, because obviously I was running out of contract and I had to sign a new one. He said, just stay here because you're gonna love it. I'm 100% sure you're gonna love the way we train. And yeah, I did love it. And the relationship with him was great. He loved Barcelona as well, so we used to speak about Barca's games every Monday. Take me to his office. Hey, amigo, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? So we talk about tactics. Yeah, he loved speaking Spanish, and he's a great manager. And obviously now with Leicester, things are not going fantastically well, but probably one of the best I've had.
Right. And just quickly on that, so could you tell that Martinez and Rodgers as well, both young managers at the time, could you tell they were going to go on to great things, especially in the Premier League as well? Yeah,
with Roberto, because he's such a clever guy, and you could see he was destined to do big things. And Brendan, because his knowledge was great, and obviously, I mean, going to Liverpool was a huge step. I didn't expect him to go to Liverpool from Swansea.
No.
But I remember him calling
Probably
me.
Too big.
I was on holidays, and he said, "Well, I'm phoning 3 players, and one of the players is you because blah 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 whatever. I'm going to Liverpool. I had an offer from Tottenham that I turned down, but I can't turn Liverpool down."
Really? Wow.
And I said, "Well, I appreciate your call. I wish you the best, and obviously, thank you because you've been such a great manager." Blah blah blah. So. Still to this day, I speak to him, and we've got a great relationship. But I knew it was going to be successful. He was very unlucky not to win the Premier League with Liverpool, by the way.
Yeah, very unlucky.
So to close off your sort of time with Swansea, then in your final season, you actually ended up scoring one of the fastest goals in Premier League history. Well, how special was that moment? That must have been crazy.
Yeah, Ryan, because it was a very difficult season where I never played. I had a few injuries when I started playing, and then. The week I knew I was going to start, and Brendan changed the system. We were going to play a 3-4-3 just to just to play me in, because we had Gylfi, Sigurdsson, Joe Allen, Leon Britton. We had a few midfielders there. So he had to put an extra midfielder in order to make me play. I got kicked. It was a Thursday, we played a game, and I pulled my calf. And I thought, no chance, I have to play. I can't, just pull it off because of the calf, another injury. I was like, so I basically played, through pain, with painkillers. I knew my calf was pulled. And obviously, it did help scoring after 20 seconds because it kind of released.
After 25 seconds,
it kind of took a huge weight off my shoulder, so the pressure was gone. And then I gave an assist as well. So I had a crazy first half, and then I had to be stopped at half time because I pulled my calf. But I would have played at Old Trafford the following week. I would have played against Liverpool because, I kind of showed and shown Brendan that I was good enough to play more in the Premier League. And then when Brendan left and Laudrup came, luckily enough, Laudrup came and he didn't want me there, so I signed for Brighton.
Hey,
wow, beautifully.
Jack, you can move on to that one, mate.
So I remember the day you signed was I don't think it was transfer deadline day. I think it was just before, because
it was the 30th probably.
Yeah, I think it was the 30th.
We had a crazy deadline day, didn't we, that day? If I remember right. Because we signed a bunch of players.
Then we signed me as well. Dobby and David Lopez, the 31st,
and Dean Hammond. You're all
Dean Hammond, yeah. Sorry, man.
Yeah. But then also, like, you played your debut, I think maybe the day after at Burnley away, and actually got an assist on your debut.
Yeah, I did.
Although that goal was pretty boring compared to the other two. So I think Mikhail Smith scored
Mikhail Smith overhead kick,
overhead kick, and then his other goal was about 30 yards. So they were far more interesting than those ones. Assist for Gordon Greer.
I got abused by Gus after the game because he said, "Who told you to take the corner?"
Really?
I wasn't supposed to take the corner, but I said, "Listen, I'm good at it, so I'll take them." And said, "Okay, fair point."
Yeah.
It's a great decision.
Thank God you did.
Yeah, because then we never would have got that Gordon Greer goal, which lives long in the memory of Brighton fans.
Surely is only one of very few. When you were signing for us, apparently Poyet was watching something on his phone whilst you were signing the contract yourself. Were you able to tell us what he was watching on his phone?
Yeah, he was not on the phone. He had like a screen, up the wall, and he was watching David Lopez taking free kicks and David Lopez goals. And then he turns to me and he said, they're offering me David Lopez. I have to sign him. And I said, yeah, do it, man. You should do it. I said, I just signed my contract. He's such a great player. And he went, yeah, I think I'll sign him. that was the conversation.
Do you think he was watching videos of you whilst he was David Lopez was signing his contract as well? Be like,
no, but I have a funny story with David Lopez with these videos, which is great because the first week, obviously I made my debut, and then we had a full week of training. I think we were playing Sheffield Wednesday on a Friday night. It was a big game at the Amex. 3-0.
Buckley scored. I can't remember. Mikhail Smith as well. Anyway.
I think Wayne Bridge, a deflected free kick.
Yeah, Wayne Bridge scored.
Yes, I was there. I remember now. Yeah, I was there. I remember that.
I got good memory as well. And basically that week, he organised a friendly against the reserves. And there was a free kick, edge of the box, and he said, well, the two new players will take the free kick, so Andrea, go first. So I took the free kick. I don't know, I didn't score anyway. I don't know where it went. Then it's David Lopez's turn, and Gus goes, well, guys, this guy is supposed to be good at free kicks, and then David Lopez understood it. Obviously his English wasn't great, and he just looked at Gus in Spanish and he said, haven't you watched my DVD? And I'm like, what is the guy? You don't know how good I am. And I thought, okay, that's confident. Basically, he took the free kick and scored.
Oh wow!
I was like, wow, this guy is good, man. And basically, I started calling him DVD after that day. So to this day, I call David Lopez DVD because he told the manager, haven't you watched my DVD? It was like, wow, that takes a bit of bollocks, really.
I've got his shirt behind me actually.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
That was actually his match-worn shirt as well. I don't know if it's been washed.
I used to have a shirt which just had his face on, and it said Spanish Dave.
I remember.
Yeah, Spanish Dave underneath. I remember wearing that to school, and everybody thought, "Wow, that guy's cool." But yeah, I love Lopez. He was Lopez and Orlandi is a superb combination.
On your transfer, Andrea, before we move on, it wasn't kind of the first time you ever met Gus, was it? He watched you play for Swansea reserves. Is there a story about that? And you think you might have called an ego cowder on to try and sort out a move for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really motivated for that one. It was Chelsea away at Cobham. Lukaku was playing, I remember, and then I saw, yeah, well, he was playing at the same level at the time, and I saw Gus, and I thought, wow, maybe I should try and play well, because Brighton could be a great opportunity for me, and thinking ahead of next season, and I had a good game, and then I spoke to him after, and probably that game made him think, okay, maybe Orlandi could be a good option for us next season, and obviously the friendship with Calderon helped, and Gus rang me like 5 days before deadline day. It was an hour and a half long conversation. He asked me about absolutely everything. Do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you go out? Are you married? Do you have kids? Blah blah blah. And then he said, I want you here at Brighton. Don't say anything to anybody. So I kept it, quiet. Following day, Inigo calls me, Calderon. Oh, you're a fucker. You didn't tell me Gus called you. You're coming to Brighton. I said, he told me to stay silent, Well, but you should have told me. We're friends. I said, sorry, Calde. But anyway, he doesn't hold a grudge, luckily for me.
Brilliant. And then you kind of formed I'd like to call it a Latin boy band. So you had yourself, Bruno, David Lopez, Leo Ajoa, Vicente. I don't think I'm missing anyone, am I? But how important was that click? How important was that click to the chemistry on the field
Spanish
and also
Albion.
how you played? Yeah, Spanish Albion.
It was great, Ben, because there is a risk, bringing players from abroad. I had it at Swansea. The second season, there were too many Spanish players, and then even the English ones or from other nationalities can feel a little bit, it's not,
a bit.
yeah, and not very comfortable with it. But because we were, mixed with the British ones. We were a group. It's true that the Spanish players would obviously get on together, and the good thing about it, we were real friends more than teammates, which makes it even more special. So when you walk out on the pitch and you turn and I see Calde, and Calde is like my brother, and I see David, and he's my brother. Bruno is my brother as well. I'm gonna die for you out there. It's like the feeling we had. We felt it was special. And then the same with the British players.
Well. I think fans could feel that. It
was great. It was great, and I've never had this feeling again. I've never had it before, and never had it after again. To be playing with real friends, with brothers out there. I love Gordon Greer. I still speak to him this day. I love Gary Dicker, Bucks.
Get him on the podcast.
Ashley Barnes.
Get him on the podcast after.
Okay.
We've had Buckley already. We've had Buckley from that generation.
No.
Yeah, I love them all. Adam Elab, honestly, it was such a great group.
Crazy character.
I watched Adam Elab play the other day.
Where?
For Whitehawk. He
really?
for Whitehawk now.
He's still playing.
And now the video, if you look it up, of there were five red cards in the game, and there was fighting all over the pitch, and Elab didn't get sent off.
Wow.
Of everything else going on, he didn't get sent off.
Was that the one where people were saying that the police should have been called to the match? That's how
genuinely
bad
it
got.
The craziest football game I've ever seen. It was in the 8th division in England, and Adam Elab just in the middle of all these players fighting.
I love Adam. I love Adam to death, man. Such a great game.
What a bloke. What was your reaction when you found out he was Egyptian? Because we used to love that. Especially in League One, he was like our only international player, and no one really could understand how he was Egyptian. So when you found out he was Egyptian, was that?
Probably I used to make the odd silly question. If he could speak any, he could speak the language, but he couldn't. And obviously he got called up for the national team while I was there as well. Yeah, and he would room with Mo Salah. Mo Salah was his roommate.
Course,
yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah. An international player, man.
Come on. So while we're on that generation, then, because there's one player we haven't really mentioned enough, and that's Vicente, and probably thought of as one of the best technically Albion players ever. What was it like playing with him? What was he like as a person? Speak to us a bit about Vicente.
well, Vicente, we used to call him the king. He had his throne when he used to come home, and he had his throne there for him where he would sit down. You know, it just sat next to me on the bus, and I was the coffee maker for Vicente, and he loved my cappuccino. He was a special footballer.
Wait, really? You actually did the coffee for Vicente?
You know, I used to make the coffee for him. Yeah, of course, man. Of course, the king. We call him the king. Technically, and I'm not exaggerating, at the level of Barca players I trained and played with, he was that good. I mean, really? Vicente in his prime was Barca Real Madrid level, and obviously I met him at the end of his career, and he was still unbelievable. So imagine a Vicente, you know.
I always remember fitness. That Didn't Madrid bid like 40 million euros for him in like 2003, which obviously back then was like mental money. Is that actually true?
It's true. It's true. And Valencia, obviously said no.
We got him for free.
Yeah,
it didn't cost us a penny.
It's such a shame we didn't get to see him as much as we probably could have done because of injuries and stuff. But every single time we've spoke to a player from that era, they say that he is, along with Gus as well, for a manager point of view, the best probably Brighton have had. Would you actually say that about Gus? No, we're not talking about Gus in a minute, but would you say that about Gus, the best you've worked under?
Yeah. Yes, he is. Vicente definitely the best player, to play for Brighton ever. 100%. 100%. And Gus, yes, is the best I worked under because that he's so clever at understanding what the player needs. You know, if you need to be caressed, okay, Andrea, you're nice, you're very good. Okay, he does. If you need to be kicked in the ass, he'll do it as well, and exactly at the right time. If he could see I was relaxing a bit, and even during games, he would just whistle to me, and I knew that whistle was for me, and I thought, okay,
mad.
I just need to wake up, and if he made me feel very, very good, man. I learned a lot under him. His halftime speeches as well, very clear of what he wanted from us. Before games as well, 3-minute video, no longer than that, with 2 or 3, key aspects, to try and beat the opposition, and that was it. No, it was great.
About, obviously the promotion year being the best year, but I still look back on that era of Brighton and think that is probably the best connection, one of the most thought of eras, in my opinion, at Brighton in probably the last decade. I'd say it sticks in the memory probably the most.
We felt it was special, we as players, and I've looked at some of the games and we played really well, and we were ready for the Premier League. It was such a shame we didn't get promoted, man.
We had a very good season.
I think
it was a 12-13, wasn't it? 12-13, wasn't it?
12-13.
We could have gone up there, and I think we would have been all right.
I was going to ask that, actually. Do you think that we would have? Do you think we would have survived in the Premier League if we got promoted that year?
Yeah,
do you think we would have kicked on? Really?
Absolutely, yeah. 3-4 additions.
I agree, to be honest.
3-4 good players, and that was it. We didn't need more than that. The group was so good, very solid. We loved each other. The manager was one of the best. Quality was there. We could run as well, so we had everything, and we were ready. And we had the fans, the fans, man.
Oh yeah, and of course the best fans in the world.
I think for that season as well, like I was about 15, 16, so the first time I sort of went to football my own without my parents to like all the away games, and it was just so exciting to watch a team just play so well. Like I remember I went to Middlesbrough away on the coach. And Andrea scored. It was a great goal as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember just thinking, this is the best team. We're going to win the league. We're going to do everything. But
I think me and David scored that day. And we were worried because we had no backs. We had no Kazenga. So we had no speed, to play that day. And we had like a meeting with fans during the week. And I said, don't worry, we're going to win 2-0. And we did win 2-0. And I scored, so it was a great day. Yeah. I remember that game well.
A fantastic game, that one. Yeah.
So before I forget, and the last thing on Vicente, obviously it ended a bit sourly, and it's reported that he commented on Gus Poyet. I've got the quotes here. So he said, "Gus is the worst person I've ever come across in football. Selfish and egocentric." One, is that true? And are you surprised he said that after the season that we had?
I'm a bit surprised. He said that. I don't know when he said it and why he said it. But I love both of them. You know, so I mean, probably the relationship it wasn't bad really. But because when I talk about genius of the game, Messi being special, Vicente was special as well. So you needed to treat him differently to me or another player because he was a special footballer. And sometimes probably he felt he should have played more, and he didn't because Vicente was on the bench, you know, for a long time. Then he was out injured. But Gus felt, you know, that the choices he was making were the best for the team, for the good of the team. So, you know, you're always going to have people talking well about the manager, people talking badly. But I think that if now they meet and speak to each other, they'll be absolutely fine.
Jack, do you want to talk about the one we
so
don't want to talk about?
I mean, this, when I was a kid, this was, after saying how great it was, this just was devastating. I mean, did it hurt the players as much as it hurt the fans losing Crystal Palace in the playoff semi-final? Because after that amazing football, it just all came crashing down so hard. And it seemed like if we had played maybe 3 or 4 more games, like the season was 3, we would have gone up automatically. Because we were, I think we were only 4 points off. And it just felt so crushing.
Jack, I think we felt so superior at Selhurst Park that we thought.
Sure.
I could see myself in Wembley. I said, we're qualifying.
Yeah.
And then the day of the return leg, the atmosphere was strange. I don't know how to describe it, but on the pitch, I could feel even the noise was different. Their players were angry. Obviously, we know what happened after, but it was
before as well.
Yeah, exactly. What happened before?
Do we know?
But we found out later.
No, we didn't know. A Palace player said it on a podcast.
It was the coach driver.
It was the coach driver.
Yeah, the coach driver. Yeah. Pulled all over. Yeah. Anyway, we didn't know at the time. We found out later. But listen, it was strange, man. It was difficult, and I remember playing and thinking, "Wow, they look like a different team." And then I think I got kicked. I got stitches in my eye. Got subbed, and Ashley Barnes comes on, hits the post, and nearly scores. I think Speroni makes a great save. 1-0 Brighton, we're in the final. So that's the difference. You know, we were just inches away
Even the following corner. I think the corner very shortly after that, the ball cleared off the line. I think
it wasn't meant to be, was it?
As well.
Yeah, and then Zaha scores, and that's it. Game over.
Mate, they were carried by Balassi and Zaha, obviously. That was literally it. I was so much better than them.
It hurts,
so hard to take.
It still hard. It still hurts.
When you look back on it now, and I was only about 12, and I remember watching it, and I was just thinking. I mean, that was probably the first time I've really felt the heartbreak of football. Because
there are 2 games, Ryan, that I haven't been able to watch over again. This is one against Palace, and then the return leg against Derby, which was probably the worst game I've played for Brighton, and it was my last game for the club. So these are the 2 games I've never watched back because I can't watch it. I can't do it.
Yeah,
it's like
understandably.
I had to watch the Palace playoffs on YouTube earlier just to get the memory going again for this podcast, and it was painful watching that. But,
I've never watched it either.
I've never watched it back.
Never. Whenever I see the goal come on, I look away or turn the TV off or something.
Same.
On to more positive things. Obviously, the following season, bit of change in management. You yourself, unfortunately, had a bit of personal issues with injuries and things like that. But then, obviously, the magical game away at Forest. What was that day like? What an unbelievable moment. But as a player on the bench, you played a pretty significant part in the celebrations. What was it like when Joe headed it in?
Yeah, I can't remember how long I played. Then I was on the bench. I took my boots off, and when Ulloa scored, I just ran onto the pitch, barefoot. So as I was running, towards the players celebrating with fans, Kazenga turns. So I had to stop my run, and I just slipped and tackled Kazenga. I could have killed him.
Yeah.
And basically, I was booked. I was booked as well. So the referee booked me.
What, for tackling Kazenga? Or
for tackling Kazenga and for invading the pitch, for everything.
I remember you getting booked because everybody cheered when the referee walked over to you and just went, yellow card.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful with Kazenga because he's injury prone as well. That could have been a...
knocked out for the season the following year.
I know, but it was a great moment, man. Because we didn't expect to qualify. It was, it was just the last minute, and then we thought we were on the bus, on our way back to Brighton, and we thought maybe this is the season, We're not favourites. We just got there in the last minute, but I think the Derby were stronger, and then they were better prepared. And even though we started well the first leg at home, scoring first, I think Lingard scored. I think Matthew Upson with a crazy penalty, and then they were lucky to score. I think it was Rust.
They went 2-1 and it went half time on it. And
the goal was scored off Kuszak's back. It hit the post and then bounced.
And there was a penalty.
Typical Brighton.
We had a good first half, and that was it. And in both legs. I think the return leg was my worst game for the club. I was
that
terrible.
team though, I felt like it would have probably struggled, maybe if it had gone up, because while it was very good, it was that there were some things missing every now and then.
It was a different team compared to the previous year.
Yes.
It was different. Good, but not as good for me. That's how I feel.
I agree. I think the thing missing was Gus in that. But I mean, Andrea, I want to ask you now, because obviously closing off on the Brighton sort of era, rather than just saying how difficult was it leaving, what was your favourite sort of memory? What sticks in the mind even to now to your time at Brighton?
Well, I've got every memory is a good one, Ryan. Obviously, my second daughter was born in Brighton, and it was basically before the Nottingham Forest game. Before qualifying for the playoffs. That's why when we qualified, that last minute goal from Leo Yo was special. But the goal scored against Newcastle, that was a great moment for me.
Yes.
And I have to say that season was just, I was looking forward to every single game. I felt like at home playing at the Amex. I couldn't wait to run out on the pitch and hear the fans. I still get. Listen, I still got
goosebumps.
Yeah, so it was great. It was great, and obviously the following season I got injured after 3 minutes the first game of the league away at Elland Road. I did my knee, and obviously it took a while to have a surgery on, and decisions weren't great, and obviously I paid the price for it, and that's why I'm hurt. But every time I think about Brighton is. I just smile because
it's good to hear.
Because it was great. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I think that most fans could probably say the same. If they're listening, they remember that sort of era of Brighton and the Championship as well. If we get them on, they sort of say the same thing. It's like I'd say those are the two best sort of moments in Brighton recent history. I'd say the rest of it's been good, but I don't think you can really top the way that connection to fans was then. And that promotion. I think that was probably the most the fans were sort of involved with the club in a positive way. I mean, other than that was Hippier, and I'm not even going to talk about Hippier now.
That was a good season, was it?
No.
We can skip what happened after that, and Ryan, again, it'll be your question next. So if you want to quickly take a look, I think we should shoot to the Cyprus.
I can
skip Blackpool.
It depends.
Forget about the Blackpool bit. Can I ask you about one game at Blackpool? Even though we're skipping over it, there was one game I remember. I think you scored twice, and then you lost 7-2 away at Watford. All goals scored in the second half.
Yeah,
that looked a crazy game. Because obviously, when you went to Blackpool, we all looked at the Blackpool score.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I can't lie.
How's Orlandi doing? We love Orlandi.
Yeah.
And then we saw that, and I think, oh my god, he scored 2. And then I put my phone away at half time, and I came back out, and it was like,
oh my god, Igalo scored 4.
Yeah.
No, that was crazy, man. I remember it was the 39th minute because I looked at the board, and it's 39 minutes, and we're losing 7-2 on the second half. So there's still 6 minutes to go. We couldn't have losing 10. We couldn't giving away 10 goals. It was terrible. It was great first half. We were terrible, but then the first half was brilliant, and then 1 minute into the second half, they've already scored, and we just crumbled. It was crazy. Probably one of the moments where I felt worse on a football pitch, and I remember telling my wife, "Please just keep the girls awake because I just want to talk to them when I get back home because otherwise I'm gonna just." Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do. It was so difficult.
Was that the worst time in your career? Would you say? 7-2 defeat.
Yeah. No. Yeah. The whole season really, because first of all, I didn't want to leave Brighton, and in England, my time in England, I've always played for teams that were mostly winning, and going in the right direction. Then I got to Blackpool, and Blackpool was just going this way, with no brakes on. So and you could see it. But then I thought, well, maybe I can still do something and enjoy myself playing for even a team that's struggling. But it never really happened. And
they still beat us though that season. Blackpool still beat us.
Yeah, but
was it at the Amex? Was it?
No, it was at Bloomfield Road.
Yeah, I remember that.
You didn't turn up to the Amex, did you, Orlandi?
No, I did. I didn't want to play.
Really, you didn't want to?
I don't want to say I faked an injury, but I did. I did it. Yeah,
fake an injury.
Yeah. I did it. Yeah, I didn't want to play at the Amex with Blackpool, man, or with a different team. It was like, no, I don't want to be doing that. I didn't fake it. So I had a problem, but I could have played easily. And I thought no. And it's then I did play. I did play at home.
Go on.
No, sorry, I did play at home. We beat Brighton 1-0. It was a terrible game. O'Hara scored a great free kick. But it felt so strange, man. It felt so strange. It was like...
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was.
See, difficult. the funny thing is, one Blackpool memory I'd associate you with at the Amex is the 6-1 drilling when we absolutely smashed them. Do you remember that day?
Yeah, of course. I
think you scored. Would you score one or two? I can't remember. I think
I scored one. Yeah,
Ashley Barnes,
couple of assists.
Buckley.
Yeah,
that was the best goal of the season. That was.
Oh,
that one where you play it to him, he flicks it back in, and then you curl it outside of the bin. Beautiful goal that.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, with David. Yeah, we loved playing with each other, and we understood each other. And it was just fantastic playing with him.
Mm. So then after that, everything with Blackpool, Brighton, everything in England, you go to Cyprus, and you went on a European journey. Did you not?
Love this.
How was that over there?
No, it was good. I mean, I signed for a club that was kind of rebuilding themselves, but difficult season. And then I signed for the champions, Apoel, and obviously with Apoel we qualified for Europa League. And we nearly got into the Champions League. We just we drew against Copenhagen in the last minute at home. Otherwise, we would have played against Leicester in the Champions League group, for example, that season.
Oh, wow.
And we won the group in Europa League. And we beat Athletic Bilbao in the last 16. And obviously lost to Anderlecht. And then Anderlecht lost to Man United. That was the season Man United won it. So it was a good experience, man. Traveling around Europe, playing against good teams. Playing in Europa League.
A dream.
Who else did you have in the group? Because you had Olympiacos, which you famously beat.
We had Olympiacos.
That would have been huge.
Yeah, we beat them home and away, and I mean for Cypriots that was like wow, the best thing could ever happen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we had Astana and what was it? Young Boys from Switzerland.
Astana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Astana from Kazakhstan. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at Jack. I'm sorry, Jack has the best.
Jack is a cold place to go, man. I think it was minus 27 degrees.
Yeah, because Man United played there. Was it last season?
Yeah, I think they have. Remember. The stadium is closed though. There's just like a dome, so. But it was quite chilly.
Okay, Ben, do you want to move on to sort of Calderon?
Yeah, let's do that. Obviously, we need to wrap up the time.
So
your career kind of came full circle, didn't it? You started with Alaves with Calderon, and then obviously you joined at Brighton with Calderon, and then you ended up joining the then champions of the Indian Super League with Calderon. What was that like playing in? Yeah, your air miles, by the way. Your carbon footprint must be mental. But what was it like playing in the Indian Super League, and obviously more importantly back with Inigo?
Well, Inigo, as I said before, is my brother more than a friend. And we started together and we finished together. We retired at the same time, basically, for different reasons. But it was hard, my time in India. With my family, obviously stayed in Barcelona. We were moved from a 5-star hotel to apartments that I was sharing with Inigo, and it was hard, man. It was really, really hard. And then, obviously, the team had won the league, and then the following season we couldn't win a game. It was just crazy. So my idea of going to India was I'm going to enjoy myself and no pressure anymore and just play and win. And if I can, I'll score and I'll enjoy myself. Well, it was completely the opposite. We couldn't win one game. I didn't enjoy 1 second of my time. Not my time there because I actually loved being there. The people were great, fans were great. It was special, but on the pitch, it was so difficult. It was so difficult. I just lost like 6 kilos. I was skinny, like very skinny, because
Well, because of the heat.
The heat, the humidity, the food. I couldn't take the food, man. I was in the toilet 24/7.
I was going to say, if anything, the food will make you bigger, surely.
No, I struggled big time, and then obviously I eventually signed for an Italian club and then retired. I didn't pass the medical, and that was it.
Who was your manager?
He was John Gregory. I think he played for Brighton.
Ex-Brighton.
Yeah.
I thought it was him.
Nice.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, I think.
He is.
He's managed Crawley Town and somebody else around here.
We leave it there. Interesting.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, let's just do quickly 3 fan questions. I've highlighted them green. So Jack, if you want to quickly jump on the dock, but I'll go for the first one. These are just kind of quick fire ones, Andrea, and then we'll wrap up in a couple of minutes. So the first one is: do you see yourself following Caldi and Bruno into coaching? And that's from Tony Mook.
I see myself more like working for a club, but not really into coaching. More like as a sports director. More like trying to, to organize the club from a different perspective. But then I would appoint Bruno and Caldi as my coaches.
I love that. I love that. I'll do the next one then. If Jack's still getting his up. So this one's from Cam Stevens, and he said favourite restaurant in Brighton, and I think wasn't it? Did all the players used to go to some Argentine
Casa Don Carlos
and the Salt Room as well, wasn't it? But yeah, you answered because I don't know.
There was a sushi one. I don't know if it's still there, called Sushi Garden. Is it still there?
I think it's still.
I'm
there.
not sure. I've never been to a sushi place in Brighton before.
Okay, Sushi Garden. I love this one. And then there's this Argentinian in Hove. I can't remember the name.
Yes,
Latino American.
No,
Latino American.
Exactly. It used to be
Lovely
Latino.
restaurant.
Yeah. It used to be Latino when I was there. Yeah, we were always there.
Right. See.
Yeah.
I meant to be going there
that's what I was
Saturday,
thinking.
but
It's got
with like 8 or better my friends, but they could only book 6 people now because of COVID still, which is a bit unfortunate.
It's got Brighton shirts all over the wall now.
Yeah.
There's a Ujol one. There's a picture of Boca Juniors Stadium.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Brilliant.
It's,
Damian is the owner. The owner is a friend of ours. Damian from Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
No, it's a good place.
And then Jack, the last.
Then final question. Obviously, you probably watch Brighton a lot. Who is your favourite current Brighton player? Because mine is Alex McAllister. But then, who is yours?
I think McAllister is getting there. He's still fulfilling his potential. I think there's more to come from him. I've always been a big fan of Lallana. I know he's not playing, regularly. He's not, being the real Lallana, but I love him since I played against him in League One when he was at Southampton. I've always been a fantastic player, but Bissouma is someone I like. Cucurella, I think, has been a good signing, even though the other day
What a signing.
it was.
He wasn't so
Had
good
a bad day
against
the other day. But he's
against
been
Burnley. I
fantastic.
think
Forget the Burnley game. It never happened.
Yeah.
But listen, I'll go for Danky, man. I love Danky to death. I mean, Danky when I was there, he wasn't really used, and I remember Gus being on top of him because he could see the talent, and we used to tell him he's the best. I mean, he's the best centre back we've got. Yeah, and Gus said, he's the best, but I'm going to teach him the hard way. Otherwise, he's not going to be a footballer. So I think that his time with Gus was really helpful for him. And now see him, he got a call up for England. I see him play in the Premier League week in, week out. I'm so proud. And it's like, this is Danky, man. My Danky.
Could you see that happening, Andrea? Could you see him going to the levels he has done?
Yeah. I always thought he was, a Premier League player. And physically, technically as well. The only problem he had to wake up a little bit.
The diving in the championship was always a problem.
I remember the early days. He was.
But even in training, I remember Gus once tested him. I think it was Gordon Greer was suspended, and then he used to write down the starting lineup, and he just wrote down Gordon Greer, Gigi. We used to call him Gigi. Danky was supposed to start, and then Danky was there looking at him, and he didn't say anything. And Gus went, Danky, you know what? Fucking wake up, man. I mean, you are starting.
That's brilliant.
If I can wrote Gigi down and you don't say anything, and Danky, well, what am I gonna say? Come on, man, you need to wake up. And that was Gus. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I would have been quiet. I would have been quiet as well. I've been saying that.
No, I would have been quiet as well. I mean, but Gus always was trying to pinch him and try to, to see if there was blood there. But a great player, so yeah, it has to be my favorite.
Well, Andrea, it's been honestly such a pleasure chatting to you. This is definitely one of my favourite episodes, 100%.
Same.
Your career is unbelievable. Like we said, you travelled the world, which must have been incredible. And you're a Champions League winner as well. So, what more can you want?
What I think is most commendable, Ben, just before you wrap up, is how honest you are. Because very often you get players interviews where they don't quite say what they want to say, what's on their mind, whereas you just come in and you're very honest, very open. I rate it a lot. So yeah, thanks, Andrea, for your time.
Thank you, man. You made me feel, very comfortable, and I've spoken to Ryan, for a bit. So he knows me, and now Ben, obviously Jack, you can have my number. We can and
networking, boys. We're networking. Welcome to our world.
Yeah, but
text. Like 2 a.m. in the morning, I'll be like, "Look at this kebab I've got."
No, but listen, what I wanted to say is genuine, man. I miss Brighton. I love the club, and obviously anytime you need me, I'm here. So thank you very much.
Give us a text when you're back, and we'll go out. We'll have a night. We'll go sushi garden.
Sushi garden. I'll get you a kebab. It's sorted.
And you're going to now go to the Metropolitano? No, that's I completely butchered it. Metropolitano. So, Andrea was telling us before the match he's going to go watch Atletico versus United, so we should probably let him go. Again, Andrea, thank you so much for coming on. Jack, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Ryan,
I'm going to an even better game. I'm going to Mile Oak versus Littlehampton Town in the 10th tier of English football tonight. So it doesn't get... Forget Atletico. That's the real game tonight.
Forget Greasy.
Love it, Jack. Love it.
Right. Before we go, Andrea, there's one thing. We always ask our guests to tell people to comment something in the YouTube section. So it can be really random. So Fatboy Slim told people to comment DILF because it means something quite rude. I can't remember what Knockout and all them lot done. So just anything random that you want people to type in the comments.
Anything random?
Like Orlandi's the GOAT, something like that.
Anything you want. If you could get anyone to comment anything, what would
bring back Orlandi, come on.
Yes.
Can you comment that?
Get it in there.
Perfect.
Comment that right now. Comment that right now.
Amazing. So if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, leave a rating and all that good stuff. Comment, like the video, and subscribe, of course. And we will catch you later. Peace.